Hi, we're ALO Health, your primary care provider, and we're here with Chino with Superpana. And today we're going to talk about the benefits of sourdough bread. And by the end of this segment, we will have our own homemade loaf of bread.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're starting here. How do we even begin with making sourdough bread?
Sourdough is a little bit challenging. There's, time consuming and, it takes a lot of work, but you can easily bake this at home and enjoy in the process and, enjoy your own creation, your own bread. So the first thing that you're going to do is that you're going to scale your ingredients, right? In this recipe, we're using 800 grams of all-purpose flour. We have 650 grams of water, 100 grams of whole wheat flour, and we're using 17 grams of salt, and 150 grams of sourdough starter. And what we do is that we're going to dump our water and you're going to mix it with the flour until you don't see any dry flour around. You grab it and you can use your strain and you're going to just get all that dry flour wet and incorporate it into the dough. Yeah, and when you have it like this, you just grab it, again, a damp towel, just leave it like that, and you're going to let it rest for an hour.
A lot of patience with this process.
A lot of patience. And after an hour, we're going to add our sourdough starter and our salt.
So our dough is ready.
So when you let rest your dough for an hour, your flour and your water in the autolysis process, you're gonna add your sourdough starter. It's been fermenting for about 14 hours. You guys can use 150 grams of sourdough starter, and you're going to just incorporate all your sourdough starter into the dough. You can grab a little bit of salt and you add your 17 grams of salt. So use a little bit of water to dissolve, yes, to dissolve your salt into the dough. And you do the same motion. I like to dump it into the counter with your hand to tuck in, and then you flip it around and tuck in and tuck in. So what you do is that you want to work a little bit the dough, and then you're gonna leave it like this, and then we're gonna let it rest for 30 minutes. We're going to repeat this step 5 times. And we're going to grab our ball, we're gonna tuck in our dough, we're gonna do the tension, and we're gonna let it rest back again. Then, remember guys, 5 times. And probably after the 5 times, let it rest maybe for an hour or so, and it's going to be ready to go to pre-shaping. So the first things that you guys are going to do after the dough is resting on the counter is that you're guys going to need a bread knife or a scraper. Gently, you're going to tuck in your hand underneath the dough, and you're going to make a bowl out of it. If you notice that it's sticking a little bit, just grab a little bit of water and just flip it around.
Circular?
Yes, exactly. You just circle it. Don't tie it too much. You just make a bowl circle, sort of like a balloon, right? But you don't want to make too much tension in it, just because this is going to relax. And after 30 minutes that you let it relax, we're going to shape it.
So our dough is ready. It's active. It's 75 to 78 degrees.
Perfect.
So what do we do next?
So after you pre-shape your dough, and you make your bowl and you let it rest on your counter, you can put a cloth or a towel on top to not let the skin to dry out. You don't want that. But after you have it for maybe like 30 minutes or so, remember checking the activity. If you see that it's missing a little bit of activity, just give it a little longer. But 30 minutes is kind of like the rule to the dough to relax. So after 30 minutes is passed, you're gonna use a little bit of flour. You're just going to dust it. You can just put a little bit of, flour in it, and you're gonna grab your bread knife, you're gonna tuck it in and lift it, right? And you're gonna lift it over, right? And there's a shape technique that we call Batard, and it's just we shape it one side, and we do sort of like a triangle or so, right? You can just hold it, and remember when you're holding your dough, don't use too much strain in your tips because you don't want to rip your dough. So you have it like this, and you make sort of like a triangle, and then the trick in here with the Batard is that you need to tuck in, and you need to tuck in sort of like a tight.
Okay.
So the core of your bread is tight, and then the rest is kind of like loose. So what you do is that you grab it like this and you tuck in here, and you tuck in one more time tight, and then you just roll it over.
Okay.
So after you shape it like this, you grab your bread knife and you're gonna flip it over. And when you flip it over, you're gonna grab it with your hands like this, right? And then you dump it in your banneton.
How long has this sat?
So this has been sitting in the fridge for about 18 hours to 24 hours. No more than that. I think that's just pretty much enough.
Does it need to be this shape or can it be round in a bowl? I've seen it done both ways.
So one of the great things that you can do at home is that you can grab any bowl that you have so this is a banneton, right? And the banneton is the basket that we use to proof our bread, right? And I just put a piece of linen, just to show you that if you guys have a regular bowl or a regular container at home and you put a piece of linen, it's going to be just fine.
Okay.
So the first thing that we do is that you're going to grab, so remember guys that this is going to be scorching hot, so you guys need to be careful, right? So we place our cast iron here in the middle, and you're going to pull your dough out of the basket. When it's spring back slowly, and this has been proofed 18-24 hours, so it's really nice and bubbly, and you can see that it's full of gas. It's really nice and soft, so it's really nice to go into the oven.
Right.
So you're gonna grab your scoring knife.
Okay.
We do a little cut here, like this, and we're going like that, right? So you don't wanna go too deep, just because if you go too deep, the bread is going to open really bad, right?
Okay.
If you go too shallow, it's not going to open properly, and there's a lot of water that is going to come in. And you're gonna grab here, and the way how I position the blade is like diagonal, like a 45 degrees. After you have it like this in here, you're gonna grab, and again guys, remember, it's scoring hot. So you're gonna have to use really thick mittens or a baker mittens, and you're going to place what I recommend is to put a couple of ice cubes in it. If you don't have ice at home, it's okay, it's fine. You can just leave it like that. It's going to make the work, but it's going to look better if you put a couple of ice in it, so the steam is going to help the crust to get soft. So you're going to put your lid in, and this is going to be back in the oven. Remember guys, the oven has to be preheated for an hour before we put this in the oven, and it's going to preheat it to 450 degrees. And then when you place this in the oven, you're gonna drop your temperature to 400 degrees, and you're gonna let bake for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, we're gonna open our oven, we're gonna take our lid off. You're gonna have to be careful because a lot of steam is going to come out. Watch your face and watch your hands. And then you're going to close your oven. You're gonna ramp up again to 450, 430 degrees is fine, is properly. And then you're gonna bake it for another 20 minutes.
Okay. Final result, we have a loaf of sourdough.
So after you bake it, this is the turnout. This is basically, what it is. And again, don't feel bad if it doesn't turn out like this. Again, guys, this is just practice. Yeah. And next time will be better. It just be better every single time.
So the health benefits of sourdough bread, well, number one, it's easier to digest because of the fermentation. Second is that it does not spike your blood sugar. And then last is for those who are gluten intolerant, this is probably a little bit more easier to digest.
When baking sourdough bread or we're buying sourdough bread, make sure that the sourdough bread is long fermentation. That's the key. Long fermentation means that the gluten has all the time to break down, and it's easier for the stomach and to digest it. Also, like you said, the glycemic index is lower because the long fermentation, it takes longer to ferment. And plus you're adding so much flavor, prebiotics, probiotics into the bread.
Great. Thank you so much for coming over today. One last thing, or one last question that I have for you is, where can we find?
Okay, so Superpana, we're working really hard to have our storefront. Right now, we currently are working on a rented kitchen, but we're offering and we're delivering all our bread to all our customers through farmers markets. So you can find us in Sandy Springs Farmers Market every Saturday from 8:30 to 12. We're also at Druid Hills Farmers Market from 9 to 1, and then we're at Smyrna Farmers Market on Sundays from 9:30 to 2. The other way that you can find our bread is through freshharvest.com. Amazing people. We deliver the bread fresh and they deliver it right away. You can find us also on Instagram. And yeah, really just visit us. This is just me and my wife, a really small micro bakery, but we're more than love to have you guys there and enjoy our bread.
Thank you, Chino, and thank you
so much. Appreciate
Superpana
it.
Frogs. Yeah, and just make sure to get out, support your local businesses and our communities, and do amazing things. Thanks.
Okay.